Now, we've seen that we can import these files. We've seen that we can automatically apply formatting through them. So let's now take a look at some other new effects that have been added in CS3. And we'll do that by moving our attention up to this image in the upper left corner. And we'll zoom in on this image so we can see it a little bit more clearly. And we're going to now apply some effects to this. So under the Object menu, you'll find that the Effects command has really expanded quite a bit in version CS3. And what we will do is we will apply a gradient feather to this. Now, once we select gradient feather, you'll see a dialog box that looks pretty similar to Photoshop's dialog box when you're working with effects, or even that inside of Illustrator. We'll turn on preview here so you can actually see the effects, and you'll note that once we turn that on, that the image is fading a little bit from right to left. But if that's not the angle we're really looking for, we can actually control that. So maybe we want it to fade from top to bottom or bottom to top. You can actually change where the gradient feather or fade is applying from. And I'm actually going to set that directly at 90 degrees. We'll go ahead and we'll click OK. And once again, we'll zoom back on the page so you can get a better understanding of what it is that happened. So we'll take a look at this beforehand by undoing this so you can see what it looked like without. And then we'll redo the effect so you can see what it looks like with that. So instead of having to go out to Photoshop to create a simple gradient effect like this, you can now very easily apply these type of effects using InDesign version CS3. Now let's take a look at how you can customize your interface to make your working with InDesign CS3 more productive. One area in which you can customize your interface is in working with the menus. You'll note, for example, under the File menu that you not only have the option to save files, but you can save them as, or you could save a copy. And maybe you have a nasty habit of saving your files out with different names instead of simply saving them. Or maybe it's a colleague or coworker that needs a little help. Likewise, there might be some things you simply don't use. Maybe you work in an unmanaged workflow where you're not checking files in or out of version queue, for example. So these are things that you can simply remove from the menus if you don't use them. So by going over to the Edit menu and way down towards the bottom under Menus, so Edit, Menus, you're able to choose a particular menu. Here, in this case, we'll choose File, and then select which particular menus you'd like to customize. So in this instance, let's presume we do not wish to see Save As any longer, so we can close that. By simply clicking the little eye icon, it will not appear any longer. We can do this with the check-in option and the save a copy option. Likewise, maybe we frequently import images, but we just have a hard time remembering exactly what the command is for that. Well, that command happens to be place, so we could actually select the place option and then define a color we might like to apply to that. Green would be a good one because we know that it's an OK menu command for us to be using. So when we click OK, if we return back up to the File menu, you'll note that Save As and Save a Copy and Check In all have disappeared, and Place is now available for us and highlighted in green. One other area in which you can apply customization is to the Control panel. The Control panel, running across the top of our screen, provides options generally for things such as the X and Y location of an object or maybe the width and height of an object. Now, if there are certain areas that you're not interested in displaying information, such as that XY coordinate or the width and height, those are items that you can also eliminate from the control panel, either to simplify the control panel, because between all of the information it displays for images, or if we go down here to some text, you'll see that it does convey a wealth of information relating to both character attributes as well as paragraph attributes, that these are things that you might be interested in simply limiting or refining. So, by going to the far right-hand corner of our screen, you will find that we can actually choose from the Control Panel menu, Customize. By choosing Customize, we can define exactly which elements are not going to be displayed. So maybe we're interested in not displaying the transform options for X, Y coordinates or the width and the height, or maybe the scaling or flipping and rotating. Maybe there are options that we're interested in also removing relating to aligning or distributing or frame fitting. So we can go ahead and we can actually deselect all of those options. We'll click OK, and you'll note that when we look at our control panel now, it has been changed dramatically in that it no longer contains any of that information we had deselected. Now, in order to get those things back, we can simply return back to the control panel menu, choose Customize, and then select up at the top the Object option so all of those items display. Now, if you wanted to have an entire set of information simply not display, you may click the entire options off by simply clicking to the left of the topmost item, in this case, paragraph. We'll click OK. And then when we go back and we look at Stockholm, you'll see that we have a limited set of information that is going to be displayed for the paragraph. Now, once again, that is going to be accessible by choosing Customize, and it's available from the Customize Control Panel menu. So we'll go ahead, we'll re-enable all of those options, and we'll click OK. Now, the final thing that we're going to take a look at is how we can actually have this information that we've built out into a page repurposed for use in a different format, such as online. Now, of course, you could export this out to an HTML file or PDF file. Those are all great things. The PDF option has been available under export for some time, but what's new inside of InDesign CS3 is your ability to export not just XML, but XHTML that can be used with Dreamweaver. And by choosing this option, you will find that we're able to save our file, and we'll be given some preferences, some settings that we can select from, such as what would we like to have occur with bulleted and numbered lists, or as we have the images brought over for use onto the web, do we want them formatted automatically? Do we want them converted to JPEG and GIF? And then what type of quality settings might we like to use? And likewise, we can also utilize CSS options if we've already defined them into a Dreamweaver layout. So let's choose Export, and you'll find that all of our content then flows out. That's something that you could open up in your web browser, but it's better to open that up into Dreamweaver for layout and formatting purposes. I hope you've enjoyed this look at the new features found in InDesign version CS3.